Join us at Your Own University. Like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. You're not going to want to miss a bit of this.
So here we are sorting out, remembering how we met one another, the importance of that at certain times. We're going to see what value there is in that as relates to our mission here at Your Own University. And the last thing that we talked about was I had said that, I'm trying to remember the year, don't remember at the moment, but it was the year that I had turned down a managerial job at my yoga studio, which would have been great. But I did so because I wanted to set aside, my priority was my relationship. And this is how this starts to relate more specifically to Your Own University, right? Because we organize in these 5 zones, realms, categories, and one of those is relations. And here I am in my life, actually really distinguishing that. I turned down a job in order specifically to have time for my relationship, and I was guarding time for that. And looking back, I'm not sure what I think of that choice, and so maybe that's something to explore here for the benefit of others, if not myself. I don't know. What do you think about that, Alicia? Was that crazy? Maybe we
I
should
think
talk
for where
about it.
you were, like you have to think about where you were at that time. Like even when I work with people around their childhood stuff, like we have to think about like where we were and what we were thinking at that moment, not what we know now, right? And that's what blocks a lot of people from actually healing and changing is we take everything that we've learned and discovered about ourselves and others and our talents and our gifts, and we expect us to have related back when we were a kid or back when we were in our 30s or 40s to in a way that we do now, right? And with the maturity and the wisdom and the knowledge that we have now, but we didn't know then what we know now, right? We sometimes didn't even know that we didn't know what we know, and you definitely hadn't had the fallout of that relationship and the shift in that relationship yet. So at the point in your life, it sounds to me it was about 2010, because I know we were talking about Your Own University opening and me opening up.
This was earlier actually, but yes, 2010
that
was we came around again. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so was when Your Own University went online. It's 2010 and began its journey into what it is today. And so you know now you have different experiences and you might have made different choices, but at the time that relationship was extremely important to you, and that choice was a really powerful choice. When we have to make hard decisions in life, and we don't know what the future holds for a guarantee. Nobody has a guarantee of the future, and so leaning into that is powerful, and not holding yourself or beating yourself up for not knowing what you know now then, right? Not having that all come to pass right from where you are right now. So I think that you did a good thing and now you're here. Yay.
And you've touched on some interesting points there. Well, one is, okay, balance of relationship and work in general. But another is, you said, I didn't know what I didn't know. And I know you've talked about this concept before. Can you share a bit about that?
Well, I mean,
this
when it
concept?
comes to healing and shifting and changing, we don't know what we don't know. So it's really important to look at these 3 areas. And I actually got them through a couple people. Let's see, who did it originally come from? Either Angel Quantina, and I think she got it from this series of podcasts from, what is his name? Kevin Trudeau. And he talked about it in Your Wish is My Command, of course, that he did. And I know there's a lot of funky information about him in the world. But this wisdom like really stuck with me, and it's helped me help clients for the last 10 years, decade. And what it is just really conceptualizing, getting really clear on what you know, so you can use those resources, you can stand in your knowing, you can have confidence in what you know.
Mhm.
Being open and really understanding that you understand that you don't know what you don't know. So like, we don't know the future, right? We don't know what's going to happen. And that's so apparent today, especially with everything that's happening in the world as a whole, and COVID and everything. It's super good to know what you don't know, and that allows you to reach out and find the resources or the people to know what you know, right? To help you learn what you don't know, or help you just accept what you don't know, and that about yourself, so you can ask for help, you can receive help, so you can be in that place. And then there's the other topic, which is much harder to see, and one reason why coaches and therapists and teachers and mentors are so important, and why we have such a team at Your Own University to help you guys and ourselves to figure out what we don't know that we don't know. And
Right.
and that's where there's this openness. So I feel, for me anyway, if I know that I know something, it's working for me, then it's a place of confidence, a place that I can just have peace, a place that I can follow my own path. And then if I know what I don't know, for instance, for me, one major thing is grammar, right? It's something that you're really good at, luckily. So we're a great team in this way. That, I have a little bit of dyslexia. I also, I'm fast paced. So I work through things, I get things done pretty quickly. And therefore I miss the little details a lot, but I get the whole picture really easily. Other people see the tiny details really greatly, but that sometimes stops them from getting the whole picture. So knowing which side you're on, for me, knowing which side I was on helps me to really forgive myself for wanting that support in the area for spelling and grammar, and be able to receive it fully without guilt or shame that used to really plague my life and hold me back. And without that shift of knowing what I don't know, I wouldn't have been able to hire Donna, hire you, hire other people to be that support system for me in this area, right? And I think we were talking individually about that in nutrition, that you went through that with nutrition a couple of years ago. Like, what didn't you know? You didn't know what you didn't know. And so putting that out there, how do you figure out what you don't know, is really important. And then I hire coaches and people to help me see what I don't know, I don't even know, because that means open to perspective. And that's where humility comes into place. That's where your character comes into place, to really be open to other people's teaching and awareness. And that's what our members at Your Own University are getting when they come and work with us, other coaches, or come to our master classes or masterminds, is you get different perspectives. And when you're open to that those are the people that have success. Those are the people that go forward. And the second that we close that off to what I know is fact, then we stop growing. And that's like the opposite of what we want to do, even in old age, for me at least.
So it sounds like possibly, yes. And honestly, I don't need every question answered necessarily, but I feel like our time is well spent if we're opening up questions that create discussions that are helpful things to think about, and for each person to apply to themselves, to pick up, to put down, pieces of that work for them. So yes, I think so. And even if you didn't, it doesn't matter, because I think that was a very informative answer with a lot of good material, solid stuff to work with. And I was just going to actually kind of summarize a little bit of what I heard to clarify that perhaps here a bit further as well. I was thinking of the metaphor of a person with two legs, right? We have two legs, and in one leg is the confidence that you're talking about. So you can own what you know, and that's not necessarily a closed state, but it's not like the learning state. It's the empowered. The word's eluding me right now, but you know what you know, and you have there's value in that. It's you can own that, is what I'm looking for. You can own that. And then there's another leg, though, that that needs to be open, really, which is a state of humility. Always to, be open for the possibility of knowing something in a way that you didn't before, which could transform, of course, what you know now. Or it could inform it and bolster it. One doesn't know, but it needs to be open. So in a way, there's like the open part, or it's really very yin and yang, really. It's, if you were to look at yin and yang, black on one side, usually white on the other side, it's really transparent or opaque, I think might be a way to think of it. And perhaps this is part of what you're saying. You have in a way, it's a solid, dense certainty of knowing. And I think that, well, I'll leave that there. And then you have the openness, the transparent openness of possibility. On the other hand, and these things are necessary together. If you have one to only, like, I know this, like you were saying, then you're going to fall over on one side, right? Or if you're just open, transparent, and or I might say docile or malleable, if it's only that, then you'll fall the other way, or you'll kind of just melt.
Yeah, exactly. But if you have both, there's a constant learning, there's a constant willingness to grow, there's a constant openness to perspective, and then there's that deep confidence that you can take that information, that you can take that resource, that you can take what you know and utilize it and manifest a life that you desire. And that's what Your Own University, right, does, is it opens us up for more of what we know we don't know, so we can learn it and know it, and also to learn things that we don't even know that we don't know.
Absolutely. I just had a thought there that eluded me. This is what it was. This all implies, of course, this aspect of relationship or relations, right? So it implies a community. It implies someone telling you something, or you seeing something in someone else. So this implies others being around, which is also Your Own University. It's a community, right? It's a community for, for self-discovery, self-development, and ideally self-mastery, that for which these two elements and others are necessary and available within this community this relational community.
So in 2010, I opened up Your Own University online. It was just my program. But my program, my signature system, Amazing You, is really about helping people find themselves and put themselves back together. If we were puzzle pieces, and find your talents and gifts and boost that confidence and everything in you. So that was Your Own University at first. And then for Your Own University itself, then it shifted. So I'd like to know your timeline around this. I went through my own series of learning and coaching and education and deeper study around how to hold this community. And then what I found in that is I was promoting a whole bunch of my friends and coaches, and speaking on stages, and speaking in telesummits, and on a lot of radio shows. And I had my own radio show, Shine and Hugs, and we were like, I was just promoting so many other people that actually my audience went from about 8,000 people down to like 2, because I was just promoting everyone else. So I needed a place that I could highlight all these beautiful teachers and consciousness and awarenesses and their expertise, and really share them with the world. And that's how Your Own University became a directory for coaches for you guys. And I think that's when I called you officially, and I was like, okay, this is becoming its own thing. It's no longer about me, LaShantika. It is about the people that inspire me, the people that touch my heart, the people's classes and courses and wisdom that I desire to share with the world, and how I can share that without compromising my own business, my own talents, my own personal therapeutic practice that I have with my own private clients. And as that went on in like 2014, 2015, what we found in that community is that we didn't have anything to really offer you guys yet. Okay, everybody listening, like, why would they come and join, right? I wasn't thinking like now they have teleconferencing therapies and stuff like that. I wasn't putting together that community. And so it morphed into, I wrote a book with Dr. Diadio Moses called Ageless Beauty, Timeless Truths. And it is 237 relationship and health and well-being tips and tools and steps. And I started taking that and creating what we now know as the love letters and habits. But I shifted it from the book and went into the 6 personal power zones that Jason was talking about. So what happened was we began writing these love letters, and they're very much directed towards women, because I'm a woman, and the book was for women. And my male clients were like, what about us? And I was like, well, you can follow these. And they actually did really great. I had quite a few men go through the love letters and really enjoy them. But they'd come back to me every once in a while and they were like, well, but I don't have makeup. And I don't look at this that way and this and that way. And what about a man's perspective? And even though I coach men and I love coaching men and holding space for the masculine, I'm actually quite gifted for it. I'm just not a man. And so I really was seeking this balance. And I tried a couple coaches and they kind of fell off the bandwagon. I tried a boyfriend and that kind of fell off the bandwagon. And finally I was like, you know what, who birthed this with me is Jason. And I know that Jason has all this wisdom and knowledge and, like awareness around this topic. I wonder if he would come and hang out with me. And that was like 2 years ago. That was like 2017, 2018. And that's when we talked and Jason said, yeah, but I have to do this, this, and this, and this. And so just this last summer is when it came to be, and the respect letters, which are the male versions of this, he's gone through and created this beautiful daily support that we offer our members to give you 10-minute life hacks. And now we have some that are really directed for the feminine or female, and we have some that are really directed for the masculine or the male members of our community. Because what I found in other areas, like I was in Beachbody for a long time, and what I found from working with them is what really got us up and at it was this community, right? Showing up for each other and showing up for ourselves at the same time. And the other piece of this was I still get to share all of my friends and the people that I respect in the community and people that inspire me. And they teach master classes at Your Own University. And so one of the first things that Jason did with me, our gems here, is he came and did a master class on Are You Not Hard, Not Wet, which was just an awesome master class full of wisdom, because he has a great perspective on both those things and the male's perspective. So you really open that up for Your Own University as well. And now we have some other great teachers that are talking about orgasms and stuff like that too, because it's, sex and relationship, as you were just saying, is so important in all of our lives, right? So anyway, that kind of brings us to this moment in time. Do you have anything along that line that was happening for you in preparation or stepping into this role as the president of Your Own University, and or your experience around writing the respects letters and seeing all the love letters now?
Well, as I was mentioning by some of the characters who I've met, I've very much been naturally very interested in psychology, a la transpersonal psychology, that sort of style, Eastern wisdom, sensuality, more from a Western vantage point. These are the topics, and the 5 categories, zones that we've talked about are things that have always just naturally interested me, and they make sense in terms of how I'd how to help make sense of the world and to help it have meaning. And there is probably a lot of detail I could go into about who I met when and what I learned, but I these are things that have been and are still very current in my life. And what was happening around 2018-19 is I had moved from being a full-time yoga teacher, mostly, or at least much of it internationally, to a regular, well, international, like traditional school teacher, basically. There were some steps between to get there. And that's that is a huge amount of work. And so when you said I have to do this and that, I was just immersed in that.
Because you got your master's, you started teaching.
So I got my master's, and then I got teaching. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
the program I was in both earned me my credential, my credential, which is the legal rights to teach, and that was a program that was combined with a master's. Actually, it was in California, so one of the California governors at some point set that up. I think it was Jerry Brown before. Was it Schwarzenegger? I think Schwarzenegger might have followed him. In any case, whoever it was, that's how I taught, and so that's what I was up to. And it's as someone I met happens to be from South Africa mentioned. He said it's all consuming, and it really was. But so that's part of what propelled me back. Is there's a lot I like about it, and but I was missing this. So you've offered me the opportunity to come back to these topics and subjects, sensuality, wisdom, relationship, et cetera, psychology, that are really close to my heart. And so missing of these things while I was so all consumed by the last trajectory, which is different, propelled me further in this direction, although it still took a while because, I take things seriously.
Right.
So,
you had contracts, and you had school, and you had students, and you had kids.
It's important to try to hold up your word. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a lot of things come down to trust, really. And so you need to do what you can to work things out with people to the best outcome for each of you all involved, So exactly. So, including contracts.
Through like the daily hacks and stuff like that. And for our audience, like, who would you recommend them for? Who do you see this as a good fit?
Honestly, I'm on the respect letter side, so I was going to say anyone, but you have the love letter side. So for those of you who relate more directly to more feminine energy, then that is probably a better choice. But otherwise, anyone, any guy. Really, because so much of it, and this is your strength, right, is mindset. It's not only mindset, but it's very, you might say the tip of the spear, I think is the expression, is the mindset. That's just very much an expertise for you. And I think in that way, it's very helpful. It's also very helpful in terms of having community or friends, like support. Mm-hmm. So you have the support every day. You have something you can lean on, you can look into for yourself through the letters. And, so you have that community, and I've lost my train of thought again, but you have what I was saying before, and you have this. So you have the mindset is the point. You have support daily. You have mindset. That I think my point is that it's helpful for everyone to have mindset training, or kind of like you have a physical workout. I think it's important to have a mental workout regularly, but also like it's really an attitudinal workout is what it is. So in short, daily support and a healthy attitude through thinking about things with perspective and some self-awareness. And these letters help prompt you to do those things. Yeah.
I love how they work. Like each week I get reminded to pay just a little extra attention to each power zone. So if you don't know what the power zones are, there's 6 that we cover. We look at them as departments at your own university. So you have your physical department, right? Your physical body, your physical health, your physical well-being, your mental health, your mental well-being is the second. Your emotional health and your emotional well-being is the third. The fourth is like your spiritual well-being, or your energetic kind of vibrational well-being, and that alignment with your truth and your awareness. And then we have a deep dive into relationships and how to have all sorts of relationships, lovers, to boardroom and professional relationships. And then of course we have the professional zone, which is the business. And if you want to open up a business or raise your vibration or raise your awareness around money or finances or organization and strategy, we have classes in all of those arenas. So those are our master classes, but we also touch on those each and every week. So each week I got this chance to spend a day just focused on one of them instead of trying to do it all. And over time, it's helped me to develop each one. So it really creates this balance, I think, in everybody's life, that the feedback that I've gotten from people going through and being a member, they're like, I love the love letters. I love the respect letters. They just remind me, right? Because there's so much going on in the world. We're all so busy. Like they just remind you, oh, right. And they're short and sweet. I love that too. So anyway, that I think wraps it up for me. Like, do you have anything you want to add to like how we got here today and our mission at YOU?
No, I think you've touched on it quite well. I'm sure we'll come back to this subject, but at the moment,
again and again.
nothing more to add.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Again and again. Well, much like respect and love letters, they cycle over and over and over again as our cells cycle, as we go through the days. As long as we're alive, this is relevant. So we'll continue to be coming back to it just like that.
As long as we're alive, you'll be going through your own university, and we'll go through our own universities as well, our graduations from life. All right, you guys. So next week we'll be back here again. Check out our podcast on Fridays. Check out yourownuniversity.com and join us for our next masterclass, which is next Saturday with JD. She's going to be talking about really producing your own life and stepping into your dreams and wisdom. And I'm really excited about that. And you can join us for free as our guest. Go to yourownuniversity.com and register for that and learn more about becoming a member and getting those love letters and respect letters if you choose to do that. Thank you for being a part of our community.